Hello, and today I would have to say good afternoon. Today I'd like to talk about do I have anxiety and how to cope with anxiety. So, do I have anxiety? I think we all like to know, do I have a good amount of anxiety, like anxiety disorder or anxiety? You have panic attacks or depression or any type of mental issue. We want to know. And I highly, highly recommend everybody go and take care of your mental health. So first and foremost, please go take care of your mental health. And no, I am not a professional. However, I do suffer from, anxiety disorder, panic attacks, and depression. So I know how hard it is to manage that. So first and foremost, I'm going to say, if it's that bad, I would definitely go talk to a doctor. I would definitely go talk to somebody and reach out, definitely reach out. So anyways, so it says, do I have anxiety? How do I know I have anxiety? And that's hard because a lot of people have normal anxiety, that fight or flight response, where it's normal. We, say that you're walking down an alley all by yourself, it's dark, and you hear a noise. You start sweating, you start getting nervous, your heart starts pounding, and then you turn around and it's just a cat, and you're just like, whew, thank goodness it was nothing else. So, and that's the normal response of anxiety. And what I mean by having anxiety, what I mean is, do you have high anxiety as an anxiety disorder, where it goes beyond that, where after that you have that every single day? Just imagine having that kind of scare every single day of your life, and most of it lasts for about 6 months, and some of it lasts less than that, and then in between time you can get some type of depression in that, and you get really sad, and you can just be all by yourself, and it's just really bad. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not the normal depression I'm talking about. It's about depression, not depression, I'm talking about anxiety. I'm sorry. Anxiety. So how I found a way to manage my anxiety, because a lot of people say, this too shall pass. Yeah. Is that what we're supposed to say? Is that how we calm our anxiety down? This is gonna go away? No, unfortunately, we do not do that. Okay, so, and actually, when we say, this too shall pass, yes, it goes both ways. This is how we do calm ourselves when we have anxiety, but also at the same time, we need to be serious about it, and it's not a joke. So there are many ways to help control your anxiety. Yet, not many actually work that long, and then you're back to feeling everything once again, because everybody knows that when you have anxiety, you feel everything. Everything you think is everything you feel. So everything you feel it's real. So, and a lot of people seem to be blindsided by how real mental issue is. And it's hard for me to keep quiet now, because now it's always been so dear to me about how much my anxiety has been a problem for me, and now it's not that big of a problem anymore. I still suffer from, anxiety. It's just not as bad as it used to be, because I've been able to, get a grip of it just a little bit. So, but it is important to know yourself first, to know what makes you tick, find out what makes you angry, and then when something triggers us, we react to it. So first, figure out what the one or several things that trigger your anxiety. Like for me, sometimes it's me thinking too much. Say I'm gonna go to class and all I keep thinking about is I'm gonna do so horrible in my exams. I'm gonna do so horrible in my exams. I'm gonna score so horrible in my exams. And then I get there, and guess what? I do horrible on my exams because guess what I told myself the whole time? I'm gonna do horrible on my exams. I'm sweating, I'm nervous, I forgot everything, nothing is in my head anymore, and boom, there you go, I failed. So just, that's another thing, is that we have to find out what triggers our anxiety. What's the one thing that gets us, so what is it that your mind is going crazy? So what, number one, I would have to say is stop, think, do not react. And what I mean by is that the best way I figured out myself was to be in my own head and be outside my own body as if I was the third person. When I feel anxious, like meaning once I feel a bad vibe inside my gut or in my mind, like most of the time I can warn myself, and that's how I can tell I'm going to have an anxiety attack. Like that's what I'm like, oh my gosh, something's gonna happen, something's going on in my head, and I'm just gonna start feeling hot flashes, and it's inside my body, and now and like I said, when you start feeling this way, stop and think, but don't react to how you feel, because once you do, that's where everything goes downhill. So next is these are the things that I'd like you to know about anxiety. So as step one, I said, stop, think, do not react. Well, I want you to understand what it is. Anxiety attacks can last for hours and even days. So be very careful. Okay, so number two is how to read red flags. Now, many of us have anxiety and do not even know the first thing about managing it. So we even get called crazy, all because one thing you're trying to control, you're having a hard time with. Unless you pay close attention to your triggers, like I said before. So here are how you can tell your anxiety is triggered. 1, the red flags of anxiety before the attack. You ever feel a vibe in the room? Like, that's exactly how it starts. Like, the vibe you're feeling and or the energy around you feel off. And then the negative, otherwise, it feels like your energy is fading. You're trying to find peace. You're smiling. Whatever happy feeling you had, no more. So that's another red flag. Like, you start feeling down and you start like looking around like, what is going on? I don't know what's going on with me. I'm just not comfortable anymore. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in this area right now. I just need to leave. Then you feel like everything is going away. You feel like you just don't feel happy anymore, and you just need to get out of there. Okay, so, and then the next thing you can start paying attention to, the red flags would be, I put down palms so sweaty. You ever feel clammy or sweaty because, many of us, we sweat profusely. Like for me, like when I get anxiety, I start sweating so bad. Like my neck starts sweating, the back of my ears, places I'd never even thought of. Like I get that sweat stash thing. Not all the time, but thank goodness, because I feel like it shows. I'm sweating through my clothes or something, and it's uncomfortable, and that's when I feel, the feeling goes together. It says, and I'm constantly wiping my palms. I'm always going like this, or I'm always like going like that with my clothes. I'm always wiping my hands off because I'm always so anxious and so ready for, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm just ready, and I'm just so anxious, and I just need to be by myself for a little bit, because that's where the anxiety attack comes from, where it's just like you feel like you're so closed in, but when you're by yourself, you're like, I feel so free. I just need to breathe or something. I don't know. And then, like when I say, I'm constantly wiping my palms on my shirt or my pants, and it's always embarrassing. Like even if no one can see, even though no one knew about it, I always felt ashamed of how sweaty I would get over the smallest things. Anything that went through my head was affecting me in different ways, you know, and I tried so hard to control it, yet I couldn't grasp it. I couldn't get to it right away. And it was a controlling thing that I had with the control. So, especially being a woman, you know how embarrassing it is to sweat around a man you like, you know, or sweat around anybody, like girlfriends and stuff, and they're just like, ooh, what's wrong with you? It's like, I'm just crazy, I guess. I don't know. No, you're not crazy. And no, you'll never be crazy just because you have anxiety. It's not how it goes. The next is a gut feeling. When you have anxiety, you have bowel move problems. You use the restroom if you're nervous, scared, or worried. And a lot of people think that's funny when you talk about it, but honestly, that's the scariest thing. How your body reacts to the way you feel and think is very scary. And that's when you need to take control of it, because you can't keep constantly using the bathroom or constantly having stomach problems all the time because you're having anxiety all the time and you don't take care of it. And what I mean is, when your stomach hurts for no reason, you think to yourself, it's your gut telling you something, right? Like as if you have a stomach pain and you need to lay down, or even use the restroom, which most of us have that problem. Your anxiety can cause you to worry yourself into the bathroom. We all get worried, you know, and nervous and even scared. For all that is anxiety. All of it is anxiety. All of that you felt was anxiety. And yeah, I know most of it is normal for most of them, but for someone who's like me, and even like you, like we get real nervous, we get anxiety, and it goes through our heads and we can't control it. And then if we do try to control it, that's what happens. It starts to go all in your body and everything around you. Physically, it's affecting you, and you can see that. So, and what I was saying is that your body and your mind telling you something is off and something is definitely wrong. This feeling always makes me super uncomfortable. That's the part what makes me uncomfortable, is when my stomach starts hurting. I don't really like that. It can make you feel very nauseous, stick to your stomach that you will be mistaking it for an irritable bowel movement, like I said. And then when really you need to know is what triggered that. Whatever triggered it, you need to tell yourself, it's okay, you know? So that's another thing, is that you get stomach problems, and it is real. It is physically real. And when it starts physically bothering you, that's when you know it's a problem. And another part for reading the red flags would be I would have to say, okay, what I put is, you're not crazy. Okay, you're not crazy. Getting upset, angry, or even most of us go silent. Other signs are actions, the way you react to other things, such as anger, how you can yell and get angry at people or the loved ones over something that has nothing to do with them. Like they are the only ones that triggered to the last point that you had, you know, or the cat just went across your face or the desk, and you're just like, that's it. How could you do this to me? You're ruining my life, and it's not it, you know. And what it is that you have so many triggers going on, and anxiety can cause you to be angry at everything because it can confuse you, and you're trying to control it, and the only thing you're controlling is the bad things. Anger, you're gonna control that. Anxiety, you're gonna control that, or they're gonna control you, I should say, and it's gonna control your mind and everything else, and you think you're the one taking control when really you're not. Excuse me, my hair is like not done today, and I tried to make it look good. I don't know how good I did. You think I did a good job? Let me know. Okay, anyways, so like I said, the other signs of actions, the way you react to other things such as anger, how you can yell and stuff like that. And most of us women are called crazy, okay? All because your anxiety gets triggered. Yet us women work differently. We hold so much in. And and I know men do too. It's just I can't speak for them right now. Right now, it's different for men because men actually do hold a lot of mental issues and a lot of things in, and that's where we don't know that the men actually have a lot more problems or just as much problems as women do, because they are told that they're strong, they are told that they're dominant, they are told that they have to be masculine, and if they are not and they start acting like a woman or, you know, a sissy, as they would say, and I don't really want to say the bad words, but you know what I mean. So then that's where it kind of triggers them to just keep it all in. And the only reason why I'm saying women is because I kind of refer to women, but I have studied men. Like, it's weird because I've studied how men react to a lot of things. So I know that they have just as worse as we do. And it's just a stereotype thing. You know, when people stereotype other things and cultures and everything else, that's when we kind of like just keep it to ourselves, and we're just like, sure, they seem to think that that's how we are, so I guess we'll just have to hold on to that. We don't know what else to do, you know. Like, women are crazy because after, you know, having a baby, they get depression or postpartum depression or something like that, and just give them a pill, they'll be fine. What are you gonna do about a man when he can't tell you what's wrong with him? How are you supposed to give him a pill about that, you know? But anyways, like I said, most of us women are called crazy, all because your anxiety gets triggered. Yet us women work differently. We hold it so much in that when we want to actually talk about it, things always come off like we're overreacting. That's where anxiety comes out, flares up as anxiety. You think to yourself, it's okay to hold it in. No one cares anyways. You know, wrong. You know, you care. You are the one that will know every single day. I'm sorry, I'm kind of sick. I think I'm sick. My nose is kind of running right now. My bad. Anyways, never hold it in. Never say no one's gonna know, because you know you are important. You are the most important person in your life. If you have kids, if you have a husband, if you have a boyfriend or whatever, you are still the most important person in your life, because you can't do what they need you to do if you are going through all of these things. If someone in your life is saying you're crazy for acting this way, you need to sit down and say, look, this is what's wrong with me and I need help. And if they can't help you, you need to get rid of this person out of your life, because this is very toxic for your health, your life, and they're not going to make it any better. So you got to get rid of first the toxic and negative things in your life and see how that goes. That could be your trigger. It could be people you're bringing in your life triggering your anxiety, your depression. So definitely look all over. Definitely look in bigger spots and bigger areas, and understand that it could be people and it could be you. Now, another red flag I would have to say would be isolation, okay? Do you hold it all in? Do you feel, what's the point? You stay in, you keep to yourself, you become what I call numb. No feeling about anything. Meaning, once you get this triggered, you know it by the way your body wants nothing. You have no feeling towards yourself. You do not care about anything at this point. You feel as if nothing matters anymore, or at least not right now. And this moment, you want to be extra careful, because you want to catch this trigger once you notice this stage in your anxiety, because anxiety can cause depression. I don't have very much depression. I do get really bad, high, intense anxiety. I do know a lot of people that do suffer from depression, and it is super, super scary, because isolation is very damaging. You can cause yourself to be, when you know things are getting way too far, because you don't want to isolate yourself from your children. They need you, and you need them, because just as much as you are their support team, they are your biggest support team. Trust me on this. And I would have to say that's when you know that you may need some guidance out of this. If you've gone too far and you're listening or reading things like self-help, somebody help me, and you're just coming across certain videos like these ones, I would definitely say go get some help. Get somebody in and say, I just need some help. There's nothing wrong with getting help. Everybody needs help. Everybody in the world always gets help from somebody to get somewhere, to get further in life. We don't do this by ourselves. So, on to the next one. Our last thing that you need to do after you've realized everything, after you're like, you know what, I do have anxiety and I have really bad anxiety, or it's kind of okay anxiety, but I want to know more, I want to know what's going on with me. And so all I have to say is breathe, relax, and regroup. Having anxiety and depression, we need to come together to support our fellow peers. We need to help each other. Women and men hurt every single day, especially parents. There are men and women out there who suffer from so much anxiety because, for one, being a parent is the hardest thing in the world. And most of us, we don't get to spend time with our kids. And I would have to say a majority of us that do have our kids with us still don't get to spend time with our kids. And that's depressing to us because we're supposed to be this higher up and have, be their role model and show them everything. And when we're not even around. And then there's other parents that don't get to be around. They're isolated from their children. They're forced to be away from them. And that's depression. And that's what I'm talking about. Not knowing what's going on with you. And if you feel these things and I know it's because I know it's not because of this, I know it's because of that, I'm not going to see family or friends, or not being around people, or I'm telling myself this, because sometimes it is ourselves. We do cause ourselves to have anxiety. So you need to watch that as well. So I would have to say, do not turn away a mother and father's struggle. Do not turn away anybody's struggling. Teens who struggle with mental issues as well. I have a teenage daughter and I know how much she suffers from mental issues. She suffers very, very much with anxiety disorder and depression. And I'd have to say that it is real for children just as well. It is real for us. And we need to be appropriate with it. We need to listen to them. We need to understand that they have just as much of a problem as we do. They're living their own little lives just as well as we're living our lives. We can't expect them to think that they can't think the way we do because we have way more experience than our children, especially teenagers. They think what they know is right now, right here. And then most of them are going to question you because they don't know what's going on. They think that you're probably lying to them. They think that you're probably telling them a folk tale, just like Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy. Come on now, people. We all grow up and we all realize these things, and we want to know if we can trust the one person that's been in front of us our whole time, our own parents. Because trust me, not everyone can trust their parents, and I know how that is from firsthand. I can't trust my parents, and that's a whole new story. So that's what I'm saying. Because teens struggle with mental issues, and so does children. So mental issue is a big, big thing. I just want to say that if you are struggling from mental issues, if you are struggling from anything like that, please understand that it's the same thing as going to get a physical. It is the same thing as going to get your heart checked, because when we have anxiety, our heart is constantly pounding super, super fast, and it can cause you to have a heart attack. It can cause you to have heart problems and not be here after a while. So from me to you, all I want to say is stay positive and stay motivated.